Welcome to This Week in Guns. This show is brought to you by the Firearms Radio Network and Patriot Patch Company. This podcast offers commentary on the latest firearms industry news, information, and buzz. I'm your host, Jake Challen, president of FRN. You make this show possible. That's right. You simply click through our Amazon affiliate link the next time you're shopping online, and a small portion of your sale goes supporting pro-gun shows like This Week in Guns. We have a great panel this week. We have Adam Kraut, Esquire, of the Firearms Industry Consulting Group, a division of Prince Law Offices PC. He's also the host of the Legal Brief over at the Gun Collective. And yet again, he's running for the NRA Board of Directors, adamkraut.com for more information. Hey, Adam, how you doing?
Hey, good, Jake. How are you?
Doing great. I love the shirt.
Thank you. For those of you that can't see, it's a Firearms Radio Network t-shirt, and it's awesome. And it's bright orange. Perfect for tomorrow.
What's tomorrow, Adam?
Tomorrow is the Wear Orange for Gun Violence Awareness or something like that. So I figure we'll wear orange for gun awareness.
I'll be so much more aware.
Yeah.
Awesome. Billy Johnson, Boxer Tactical, and Admits the Noise. Hey, Billy.
Hey, Jake. How you doing, man?
Doing good. We have Josh Cass from Four Guys Guns. Hey, Josh.
Hey, Jake. Pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me.
Anytime. And the views and opinions expressed in this podcast are those of the individual co-hosts and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the Firearms Radio Network and or their employers. Viewer discretion is advised, especially on live shows. And you can watch live every Thursday night at roughly 8:15 p.m. Central Time on the Firearms Radio Network YouTube page or the Firearms Radio Network Facebook page. And thank you, everyone, for tuning in tonight. And looks like John Patton of the Gun Collective just dropped in.
It didn't.
And also Patton Media and Consulting. John's getting his audio set up here. We'll touch base with him in a second. Patriot Patch Company helps make this episode possible. You can check out the AK-47 cleaning mats over there. And we also got some pre-orders in. We got these great big police, and we also have Sheriff's Department PVC badges for the front or back of your plate carrier. Usually these are done in horrible embroidered material, but these are high-quality PVC. I don't know if you can see, but they also have a raised background of the U.S. flag. Camera's not really focusing on it.
That's pretty cool. I saw it.
Also, Patch of the Month shipped today. There's still some enrollment slots open for the Patriot Patch of the Month Club. You get an exclusive patch every month to your mailbox. You can only get this at the Patriot Patch of the Month Club. Limited runs. We only run a little bit over what the current subscriber base is and intention for growth there. And also the Safe Space version 2.0. This was the Safe Space version 1.0 was the very first patch of the month and is very sought after. That was a limited edition. We'll never run that one again, but we have a Safe Space 2.0, this new version, a little bit larger, in stock, first sale at patriotpatch.co. John, you set up on audio now?
I'm here.
How you doing? John Patton of the Gun Collective.
Hi. How are you?
We're okay.
Yeah. I'm excited. It's been a little bit since I've been on the show, so it's good to be back.
A little bit. What's up? What's new? It's been like forever.
Yeah. Just the late shows are tough, and I'm happy that we can do it on a little earlier this week and really just get into some news, man. It's good to be back.
Speaking of news, you can join the discussion over at the Firearms Radio Network This Week in Guns Facebook group. It's This Week in Guns over on Facebook. There's a link in the show notes to it. It's a closed group, so I'll have to let you in. But let me know if you want in, or you can actually search for it now on Facebook and join the discussion throughout the week on the This Week in Guns Facebook group. Top stories this week. Start with some positive news here. We're looking down in Missouri here at St. Louis. Police are having a historic sale. St. St. Louis police pulled the trigger on a Tommy gun sale as part of a $1.2 million deal. Now get this, St. Louis police have had 27 Tommy guns in their storage since the 1950s when they were decommissioned. Some of them date back to the 1920s, but they took them out of, I guess, the line of duty in the 50s, and they've been in the basement of the police academy ever since.
You get a Bearcat. You get a Bearcat. All of you get Bearcats.
Well, those are federal grants.
So these funds, they're looking to raise funds to buy some ARs for the departments. And so this collection back in 2014 was appraised at $777,000 just for the Tommy guns.
So it's a handful of ARs and 1,500 new Berettas.
So what's crazy to me, though, is so Midwest Distributors bought all 27 of the Tommy guns for $22,000 a piece. I mean, I know, NFA items, there's money to be made, but does anyone here really think there's money to be made at $22,000 a piece when you factor in their overhead of turning these around and trying to sell these?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's money in them still.
There is. I can tell you there is.
I mean, to me, those are $40,000 guns.
I don't know about that. But they're certainly worth. They'll make a profit on them.
And this still full auto, right?
Well, yeah, they're always full auto.
So yeah, there you go.
Yeah, but and this is a perfect example to people on how government legislation can artificially increase the price of an item. So, and this is also why it's going to be really tough to overturn the NFA, because you have all of these large collectors, and Adam knows this, that have lobbied to keep the NFA in place because they want to maintain the value of their collection.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. We appreciate that. Us peasants appreciate that.
We won't go into detail, but I think we have some. There's some examples out there if people want to dig.
It's upsetting.
So
positive news. Hooray!
They've been in the basements for 67 years.
Oh yeah, some guy I knew was cleaning out an armory for the Army, and they found Vietnam era AR-15s, brand new, still wrapped. Wow. This is like years ago, but it was like
that's cool as hell.
Like the original,
like a time capsule.
Yeah, the worst part is they had no record of them anywhere. They had no serials logged, no entry of it coming into the building, and like all of that with the armor, like everything is listed. They didn't exist.
If I was a janitor, I might think about taking those home.
You might also think about prison.
And a positive news. Thanks, Whitey. Okay, FBI restores...
I'm the Debbie Downer, really?
Restores Nick's customer service line for retailers as background checks slow down.
So, yeah, hi. We're going to record your call, but you're just going to sit on hold for 3 hours while we decide to take it.
Is that how it works? Adam, you work
in a government line,
a gun store. I guess.
Well, we don't deal directly with NICS. We go in Pennsylvania. We're a point of contact state, so we get to deal with the state police instead.
Okay.
Noon until 5, Monday through Thursday.
Yeah, when I read that, I laughed.
Government hours. Yeah. Friday background check applications are forecasted to be at a more manageable level, however, according to Holly Morris, the FBI Community Outreach Specialist. Yes, that is a job title, apparently.
Community Outreach Specialist.
Well, schools have community officers, and those are officers that are dedicated to all the children, adolescents, teachers, and everything just for that school. So they're like the liaison. They're still a full-blown officer, but they're a liaison between the full-blown police departments. That way you don't have, Susie poked Steve in the eye and parents wanted assault. That officer is the one who kind of intermediaries that until it's deemed, okay, we have to arrest a child. and that special officer is the only one like allowed to arrest that child.
Somehow I think this is a little different.
Well, I'm sure it is, but I'm saying like there's a position and I'm sure it does something for it.
She's
Sure.
FBI outreach, so she's like junior level PR.
She's fresh out of school and she's specializing in government and politics.
On her resume when she got the job with FBI, it said, "I know social media," and that's basically.
I have a Twitter account.
Yes.
I'll rep your stuff, bro.
Nice.
House Republicans seek to limit ATF guns and ammo rule changes.
Yay!
Let's
Why is this not in positive news?
Yes, let's disband the ATF. Let's overturn the NFA. Oh, wait, we already discussed that. So let's start with overturning and closing the ATF. Perfect.
Yeah, I'm going to file this in the it's not going to go anywhere category.
Shut up, Kraut. You're raining on our parade. We're excited about this.
Cool. It's great. Don't get me wrong. Like, cool. Love the idea behind it. Has the bill text been posted yet? Last I looked, it wasn't even up.
I don't see a link here, but
I see a link. Ah, yes, it does have the text. It wasn't up yesterday when I looked. But regardless, you're talking about a Congress that couldn't agree to do something that it agreed to do prior to entering its session. So good luck.
It is a long shot.
Tennessee governor signs pro-gun metal detector bill.
This is like trolling at the epic level. I love it. This whole bill thing. It's like, okay, hey, you want to ban guns at these buildings? Fine, you got to put metal detectors in. I think it's awesome.
Yeah, you have to put metal detectors in and a staff to run them, and you have to do other things too. Florida has this in place somewhat as well already, where if local municipalities want to ban guns in any of their public buildings, they have to provide metal detectors and armed guards to do that, which most of them don't have the budget for.
Right.
That's huge. And
Right.
The reason why is because if you go to Buffalo Wild Wings and there's metal detectors at the door, do you view that as being a safe place for you to go hang out?
Well, no, this is only state facilities.
Oh, that's stupid.
So like libraries, certain types of park buildings, some mental health facilities. And where the mayor of Nashville is taking it to another level and saying that this could apply to public transportation, and she doesn't know how she would provide security on public transportation. And then she has to go where everybody listening to the show knows where she's going to go, to the children. And she says, our concern is for the safety of our traveling public, a large percentage of which are school-age children. So, of course, she never wants to say that it could be a concealed carry holder legally, someone carrying that would save a child. Instead, she wants to flip it around and saying these concealed carry people are going to harm children in typical anti-gunner fashion. Thank you, Mayor Barry.
Yeah, I thought that comment was rather interesting and certainly almost predictable.
Yeah. Yeah, she's got a list of go-to answers, and the children is probably top on the list. But I think it's a great bill, coming from someone who really hates legislation.
Is Jake alive?
Yeah, we having some audio difficulties here.
We're
I hear a
back.
fan.
Yeah, what's with
Who's got the fan going?
it's not me.
it's probably me.
Moving on to LAPD chief says CCW reciprocity would be an apocalypse. And
Cool.
companion story. John Lott says police commit more crimes than CCW holders.
Cool story, bro. Bring on the apocalypse. That's what everybody's been asking for, isn't it? Like, both, doesn't matter what side of the political spectrum you're on.
Yeah. So there's some claims made in that article that are just absolutely outlandish. But of course, this is California, or that is California. I don't live in California anymore. But one thing when I read that article, I thought that was interesting reading it, is we have two really large metropolitan areas that have a tremendous amount of law enforcement, right? We have New York City and we have Los Angeles. And I would say typically isn't always the rule, but typically when people become law enforcement officers, they kind of almost grew up in that area. So you have an area where people didn't grow up with firearms. They become law enforcement officers in an area where there is really no concealed carry. They don't witness it every day. They don't deal with it. And I would going to go on a limb here. I'm going to say probably a lot of those cops probably aren't gun guys. When you come out to like a rural area like me, where I live, a tremendous amount of the cops here support concealed carry. They carry concealed when they're not on duty, and they're gun guys. And it's not a big deal here dealing with concealed carry permit holders. In a place like LA, if reciprocity did come in, this chief is probably, he'd flip out. He'd be like, oh my God, how do we handle this? How do we take care of this? And of course, he's going to say the apocalypse and this is the end of the world. You're going to have to train your officers on how to deal with it. But, when we look at these stats and they say how many officers support, the Second Amendment and individuals' right to carry concealed, it's like 3 to 1 ratio of law enforcement across the country. I'm going to guarantee you that almost all of them are in Los Angeles and in New York City and a handful of other large cities around the country. And it's primarily because these people didn't grow up with guns. They don't know guns. Just kind of it's something that I just thought about reading that article is I'm like, yeah, I could see it being not an apocalypse, but I could see it being a training issue with some of those departments. But I think they should have to do it. So
yeah, absolutely. Well, we'll see what happens when CCW reciprocity passes, if it ever does. I mean, California, Illinois, New York, all the eastern states are going to freak out about it, of course, because, concealed carry is scary. Especially the big cities are going to have a big cow about it. So.
But, those bad guys are already carrying anyway. So, I mean, that's the argument to be made. I'm like, come on. Do you think more bad guys are going to carry now because of reciprocity? You people are delusional. These bad guys are already carrying guns. And
funny thing is, people in those cities know that. It's these leaders, quote unquote, in these cities that are in denial or have an agenda. I don't know. NSSF holds a suppressor event in support of HPA, the Hearing Protection Act. Looks like they featured Daniel Defense and Sig Sauer in this event held in Manassas, Virginia. This is pretty cool. They had reporters and writers out who got to shoot every firearm and use every suppressor at the range.
And then they wrote articles that were anti-gun with them.
Well, and we have a companion story. Shannon Watts says gun lobby using the word suppressor to confuse the issue.
See, told you. If you just called it a silencer, it wouldn't be a problem. They wouldn't have an argument.
Finally, the anti-gun people are arguing about silencer versus suppressor.
And now I'm even more angry about the issue.
I think this shows you how poor their movement is, right? I mean, like they're arguing about the semantics of what we call it because they can't really get anything done. I love it.
Well, to be fair, they misuse the term common sense all the time.
Why bother looking up patents that existed before things like this BS existed?
So there's that.
She's just trying to catch a headline wherever she can. I mean, this is someone who was in PR at Monsanto. She knows how to get in the headlines, and that's one thing she's good at. And of course, she has the sympathetic air of majority of the press in this country, and so they'll post stupid stuff like this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I think I just, Jake, so I added a companion article there. That's a opinion piece from the editorial board of the Washington Post. If you care to lose a couple brain cells and read it, have fun with that one.
Great title. Congress should turn a deaf ear to the NRA's campaign against silencers.
Well, the best is the first sentence. If there's ever been a more benignly titled legislative proposal than the Hearing Protection Act now before Congress, we can't think of it. Not to get into politics, but I could think of, I don't know, the Affordable Care Act as being one. But
Oh my God.
I know these people are just absolutely crazy.
I didn't realize it was the NRA's bill.
Well, of course it is. The NRA supports it, so clearly the NRA is the big bad guy in the room.
Right.
Oh yeah, I mean Russia did it, but it's the NRA's fault. I mean, it's always the NRA's fault.
Take that, people who said they're not getting stuff done.
Let's move on to California Senate approves a 1 gun a month restriction for residents.
Wait, can I just reread this?
Yeah.
California Senate approves 1 internet post a month for California residents. There.
But my free speech, man.
There you go. That's basically the title. That's what it's saying, right? Oh no, that's not what it's saying. Oh.
But quote, and I quote, the article says there is no need or reason why a person would need to purchase more than 1 gun a month.
Yeah, here's the great thing about rights. The great thing about rights is I don't have to prove need. You have to prove you're wanting to restrict it. There is no proof of need to exercise my natural, civil, and constitutionally protected rights. Can we please just cut the state off now and let it float away?
Well, the Constitution doesn't apply in California.
Apparently. It hasn't for a long time.
Right. All the scumbags over there are just on their own thing, and nobody will do anything to check them.
Well, so I like the one senator, and sorry to cut you off, Whitey. The one senator says they have to do this because he thinks that people are legally buying guns and then scraping off serial numbers and selling them in the black market.
So every gun purchaser is a straw purchaser. Here's the real deal. How do you track that? And then how does that not raise an eyebrow?
Hey, look, I can make stuff up too. Just saying.
Federal judge dismisses $12 million defamation suit for Kitty Couric's Under the Gun documentary.
So, Adam, maybe you can answer this to me, because they said that they can't prove that they intentionally wanted to harm the reputation. Now, I can tell you, as someone who's edited a lot of video, it's pretty clear they intentionally edited the video to create the silence, like the people didn't know what they were talking about. But how much harder is it to take that in a court of law, right? To take that example and then extend it to that actually harms someone's reputation? Is that kind of like what this whole thing was hinged on? Because do you have to prove that they intentionally wanted to harm their reputation?
I don't know. I'm just glancing through the. Hey, sorry, my roommate here is deciding to bark.
Yes. The dog says yes.
Yeah, he's all in.
Justice the law dog.
I'm just glancing through the opinion. I didn't look through it beforehand. Let's see. Defamatory words damage a plaintiff's reputation in the community or deter others from associating or dealing with him. Blah, blah, blah. Defamatory language tends to injure one's reputation and the common estimation of mankind. It goes through how a statement can qualify as defamatory or by implication. So I guess the implication one's probably more on point here. In that case, the court must determine whether the words ascribed to the defendants, given their plain meaning, are reasonably capable of conveying the defamatory innuendo of which the plaintiff complains. And the court says here that to decide it as a matter of law, in this case, the footage does not on its face carry the defamatory sting required by Virginia law. Plaintiffs allege 4 defamatory meanings. That they had no basis for the opposition to their background checks. They were uninformed, notwithstanding their expertise in the areas of gun regulations and rights. They were stumped by the question, or they were ignorant or unfit, and it just keeps going on and on. I'm not going to bore you with it, but it explains, at least the court appears to explain, why it doesn't believe that it reached that burden there that the plaintiffs had to prove. So I can't answer your question. I don't know. I didn't read through the opinion all the way.
I mean, because they intentionally edited that way. That's what's interesting to me. It's
yeah, they absolutely did, and it's a shame. But that's what you get when you're dealing with the quote-unquote mainstream media.
Lame stream.
You can pledge your support for shows like This Week in Guns. You can go over to firearmsradio.tv/pledge and pledge for as little as $5 per month. So instead of buying that Frappuccino at Starbucks, you can support Pro Gun Radio like This Week in Guns, firearmsradio.tv/pledge. You can also pledge at the after show level to hang out with us after every other episode. Firearmsradio.tv/pledge. Surefire tiptoes into the tactical holster market with the Masterfire holster system. John, you love holsters. You're always talking about holsters.
I seem to find like a bunch of really, really weird ones. This doesn't really stray that far off of weird looking. I don't know exactly what's going on here. It's kind of weird to tell. And I apologize for the air conditioner in the background. It appears to be kind of an open top duty style holster with a method for turning on and off the light upon drawing. I'm assuming that only works with Surefire lights, but it's very reminiscent of like a competition style holster where it's basically open on the entire top where the sights would be, and it looks like that's where the light actually hooks in.
Well, and it's light specific, so you can use it on any firearm. From what it seems like I'm getting here.
I'm trying to figure it out. It's pretty expensive, at $165.39 on the Surefire website. I'm not really sure if this is like a necessary thing. It's got some kind of retention button, along the lines of like a level 3, I think is where that button comes into play. It might be level 2, but I don't know. It's an interesting idea, and it's interesting to see Surefire getting into that game as well. You know, they, instead of outsourcing this to another company, this is them, and this is along the lines of there's a company called Viridian that makes awful lasers and lights. I'm kidding. They used to be bad. They're better now. But they have a similar system where upon drawing, it literally turns the light or laser or combo on to the last setting. And I think this is kind of that same concept, just more for like duty use.
I've played with this thing.
Okay, weigh in, brother. You know more.
Back when it was a prototype back in like October, when I saw it, my theory on this is that this was a special project for a special outfit. And they probably had the request of needs to be light mountable for suppressor weapons. And you're spot on. It's very close to a competition holster mixed with, Bravo concealment. That makes that holster that's specifically for suppressors outside the waistband. Because I know Raven Concealment also makes one for inside the waistband. And Kraut is correct as well. It's made to work specifically with the light as the retention. It is level 3 retention, and I think it's one of those things where it's like, would Joe Schmo on the street who's looking for a Kydex holster to carry his weapon buy it? No, I don't think they're looking for the customer that's, I would say, carrying it for EDC, even in Texas.
A duty thing.
But yeah, duty definitely, hence the retention requirement. My only concern when I played with it was burning your thigh on the suppressor. But you can put any gun as long as it has that Surefire light.
Well, I think that's it. I could be wrong. I mean, I don't know what the origin of it was, but the suppressor silencer for maybe if it was a special request from a unit, for the unit, sure, but for everyday Joe Schmo, or if it's for police duty carry, something that just puts that light on automatically, it's one less thing for them to have to think about. The silencer being able to be attached is kind of like a cool thing, if it's something you use. If not, no big deal.
Well, but they're not. So they're not the first people to make this holster that turns a light on. They're not the first people to make a holster that's specific for a light, which allows multi-use in different pistols. And I'm assuming this isn't the first holster to be used with a suppressor. So is this just like putting it all together?
A little bit of A, a little bit of B. I know a lot of special T-shirt guys that when they go into a place and they're donning nods, they will stow the rifles and they'll go to suppress pistols because they can manipulate the gun better with the environment. And if you look, I believe in that picture, they have a X400 on the bottom, which I believe is an IR light. And even then, the price point isn't really that crazy. I mean, Safariland retention, level 3 retention holsters are anywhere from $150 to $200+. So again, we're going back towards duty. We're going to a specified purpose. I think this was either a PO for a special outfit that got released, and finally they can sell it to the public or see if they can make some extra money in the.
Well, it makes sense because
commercial sector.
So much of their customers are, police departments and government agencies. So,
I mean, everything I have is Surefire for the most part. I mean, I have a couple like one-off streamlights here and there, but I've broken everything else. So like all I run at this point is Surefire. And
so
Mr. Moneybags over here.
And I've bought every one of them.
Looking at it, here's my biggest concern is the lack of trigger guard coverage, because it's a universal thing that indexes with the light rather than the gun. Even on the Surefire website, product images, there it shows like a Beretta and a Glock, and especially the Beretta, there's just tons of that trigger guard exposed.
Well, they probably made it for the Israelis, so they're not keeping one in the pipe.
Yeah, that's right. They're going to have the disclaimer.
Wow.
Disclaimer of all the crappy holsters.
There you go. The secret is out. They made this for the Mossad or whatever they're called in Israel.
Well, the funny thing is, if you look at those pictures, Jake, I mean, it covers the trigger, not the entire trigger hole.
It does, but still, I personally I like holster. It covers the whole trigger guard, but I'm not high speed operator guy that might be buying this either. So, it's innovative, but at the same time, anything that's universal, which this is, it's universal because it indexes with the light, so you could pretty much use it with any gun, I guess. That kind of scares me, the universal side of this.
Yeah, can I use that with my judge?
If your judge has a pick rail and can hold a Surefire X300 or 400, yeah.
Find gun combos. I guarantee you're going to find gun combos on this that it does not cover the actual trigger.
Let's be honest, though. No one's going to use this outside of their departments they're selling it to, or whatever special alphabet agencies they're selling it to. This isn't going to be mainstream.
Are you kidding me? How am I supposed to take cool Instagram pictures without it?
See, once the Hearing Protection Act passes and you can buy suppressors,
now I'm going to get one.
You can buy suppressors on the corner of the street for like $20. Everyone's going to be carrying a gun with a suppressor, right?
Mark my words, 20 years from now, guns are going to be like the movie Romeo and Juliet, where everyone and their mother has one. It's decorated out the wazoo, and everyone's got some sort of engraving on it for whatever make or model of nickel-plated crap it is.
Well, I'm getting in the trench coat market now then, because people are going to need to cover that stuff up. So I'm telling you, the future's in trench coats, people.
I mean, did you see John Leguizamo work those pistols? Let's be honest.
There's a name you don't hear every day.
I know, right?
That's a dynamite drop.
Cloaks are coming back too.
Moving on. Vista Outdoors finalizes long-term contract with Orbital ATK through 2012 for ammunition.
2020.
All right, yeah.
2012 already happened.
Same as my vision. Okay.
Yeah.
So, what's and they do outline the ATK Lake City ammunition plant, which is behind now because of the fire we talked about, the explosion. Says that plant manufactured approximately 1 billion small caliber munitions for the military every year. 1 billion with a B.
It's a lot.
I wonder if I could fit that in my garage.
That's a negative, Ghost Rider.
So I think what's interesting about this is they thought it was news.
Well, here's
the thing. Orbital ATK owns Vista Outdoors in some capacity. And like, okay, so your parent company, you said, we're still going to make ammo. Okay, I'd be shocked if you didn't.
Well, they're
like,
separate. They're separate companies. They still have to have like purchasing orders and everything for stuff buying.
I just find that
one company
I don't know.
to the other.
So did they have a subsidiary buy a subsidiary?
That's what it feels like.
Yeah, probably.
That's just bookkeeping tidying up.
I would really, really like to see how many rounds this contract stipulates. You know, roughly, because I would bet that there's flexibility built into it, but I'd be curious to see what their long term, and everybody would, I'm sure, but I'd be curious to see what their long term predictions are for how many rounds they're going to need.
Absolutely. Well, no one really knows through 20. We're going to have elections before 2020, so I assume they have to have some kind of clauses in there for some kind of flexibility due to the market shift.
Right.
Anyways, I mainly put this in here because there's a very interesting little tidbit here about Gander Mountain. When they filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protections, pretty much Vista Outdoors has written off $17 million of receivables with no hope of ever recovering its money from Gander Mountain.
Wow.
Yeah.
So they should never do business with Gander Mountain again, or Gander Outdoors.
It's always the risk. Always the risk when you start, you doing these 90-day net 90s, net 60s that a lot of these big retailers demand, and then you get caught in a situation like this.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean that's how a lot of the business world works. You sell, like, as a manufacturer, Billy, if you had a relationship, you'd sell, like normally it's, like 90 days net. You send someone 1,000 belts and then they go out of business and you're out of luck, right?
Which is funny because I beg my vendors for net 30, right? And it's so hard for a little company like us to even get net 30. I mean, there's a lot of things we still have to pay cash for. But then when you get in the big retail world, these companies really start to dictate the terms. And then as a company, you get hooked on it, right? Because now Gander might represent 20% of your sales.
Right.
And so you can't say no to them. It's 20% of your sales. So you get caught in that cycle. You keep extending them out. They have a bad Christmas. So maybe now you're extending them out to, even on some stuff, 180 days.
Yeah.
And then boom, they go bankrupt.
Well, so I know a guy that he ran a business that sold like lighting and electrical supplies to contractors, and so they had net terms with all these contractors building houses and stuff, selling them lighting and whatever they needed electrical wise. And they did, they had a successful business. They did millions of dollars in business a year, but they got so overextended because these contractors weren't paying their bills on time. They were using them as a bank, basically, and they went out of business because they were taking advantage of, and they just couldn't sustain it, and that happens to a lot of businesses. And I don't know. I'd hate to ever get into that position. Seems like it's the way of the world in a lot of markets, but like for Patriot Patch, I refuse to do it. We do. We do prepay only, really, and that probably hurts us. But I mean, it's
the big box store game. It really is, and this is what happens to a lot of companies when everybody, you get a product into a big box store, and you're not getting paid in 30 days. There's no way it's not even going to come close.
Yeah, especially when you're dealing with like a Walmart or something like that, where they have all the leverage. I mean, they have all the muscle.
They dictate the price to you. They say, hey, we're going to buy that from you. We're going to buy it for X dollar amount. Oh, you're not making money? Well, hang on. We'll come and help you. We'll help you negotiate better prices. And then they get into your business.
Oh, by the way, we have all these customer returns. Oh, yeah. We need all that money too.
Well, what happens with that is the customer returns come off that next invoice they're going to pay.
Yep.
So if I got $20,000 of returns and they owe you, they're out already 90 days extended and they owe you, say, $30,000, they're taking that 20 off of that 30 and they give you back a pallet of stuff that's open and broken. Here's your $10,000 and $20,000 in broke inventory. Good luck.
So, speaking of bad inventory, Gander Outdoors' new CEO criticizes company's existing gun inventory. He says basically they wasted $100 million on a bad assortment of guns.
So this new CEO is Camping World CEO Marcus Lemonis. I'm actually somewhat familiar with him based on a TV show called The Prophet that's on like CNBC, and he's all about like coming in, like that whole show is based on coming into a business, fixing the inventory, yada yada yada.
It's a great show.
Yeah, it's a great show, and he seems, at least on the surface, to be really smart with the way things are run. And I think it's very interesting to have somebody who is not traditionally looked at as a gun guy come in and go, this was a bad selection. Whoever bought these bought wrong. That's really interesting.
Well, it's not just the guns either. It seemed like Gander Mountain, when they were making their purchasing decisions, they were like, oh, Michigan stores, Florida stores, they all need the same type of merchandise. There's really no difference in what people buy in those two completely different areas of the country. So they're trying to fill out their inventory purchasing and projections to like complete opposite sides of the country with the exact same kind of inventory.
And that's why they went bankrupt.
What go ahead, Billy.
No, I was just going to say, I mean, anybody who's been into a Gander, I mean, I've only had experience with a couple Ganders based on where I've lived, and I will tell you, I think they were a terrible store. So I'm kind of excited to see what Lemonis might be able to do with the brand to improve it, and hopefully offer better prices. Because I mean, Gander, the only reason I ever go in there is because I needed something last minute. It's definitely not the place I would ever have normally spent money, because the prices were absolutely, I mean, they were delusional on the prices that they thought they could get on things. So, I mean, how you turn that around, I don't know, because you're battling internet stores that have low overhead, that are operating on low margins. And here you go, you have a company with, you have a lease, you have rent, and I still don't know how they compete. I still kind of think the big box stores, their days are numbered, whether or not, it's 10 years, 15, whatever. I don't know how they survive as the internet continues to grow on the margins that they typically need to operate.
Yeah. Just depends how savvy they are. They have to be very, very savvy here in the next 10, 15 years. They
got to reinvent. They got to do something. And everybody says, they always use the example, well, Apple Computer, they were an online company and they went into retail and they rocked it. I'm like, buddy, you're not Apple. You're not cool. There's nothing cool about what you do. Like, I hear people use that all the time. I mean, 511, they're going into retail stores heavy. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. But everyone's always using this, hey, Apple did it. Apple, I'm going to do it too. Apple did it.
Yeah, so, and 6 years later, Apple figured out, hey, we're spending way too much money, even though they were one of the most profitable businesses at something like over $1,400 per square foot per store per hour.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's obscene, right?
That's incredible.
That's the actual number,
right?
Not the profit.
Right.
And they were buying Italian slate gray flat marble for all the things. The tables were all Canadian winter cut white oak because the grain was finer and tighter, and they would just say spared no expense, which is great. And then once they had that established, then they severely cut back on spending because they knew retail costs a lot of money to operate.
But those stores are also advertisements too.
Oh yeah, huge.
Yeah. I mean, they're almost like a destination. Right?
Yeah, they're destinations definitely, and probably out of the outdoor retail stores,
Cabela's
is going to last the longest because it's such a destination.
Well, was it Bass Pro that bought Cabela's, or Cabela's bought Bass Pro? Which way was that?
I think Bass Pro bought Cabela's.
Yeah, Bass Pro.
Bass Pro is the same way.
Yeah.
They're not, a lot of people in our community aren't as familiar with Bass Pro, but it's the same thing where they have the big fish tank, they have events, it feels like you're going to kind of a theater of outdoor stuff, and the comment I was going to make about Apple is you're not walking into an Apple store, you're walking into the Apple brand. Like, that store is their branding all over. And that's why it feels so much different than when you walk into the Gap, where it's the same old crap over and over and over.
Or Abercrombie.
Yeah. Or when you're walking by Abercrombie waving
And you
at
can
them.
smell it from the caramel corn place.
Well, guys like us that are of the internet age that buy mostly everything online will still walk into Apple stores or Cabela's from time to time just because we want hands-on with that specific item. We're like, I don't really know how it feels, what size it is. I want to get my hands on it. And so that will probably always have a place.
Yeah, but big box is my showroom. Best Buy is my showroom. I walk in Best Buy all the time. I check it out and then I go home and buy it. And that's what's killing Best Buy.
Yeah.
And that's going to kill all the big stores, is because first thing I do when I'm in a big box, I pull up my phone, I look at the barcode and I scan it and I'm like, oh, wow, that's way cheaper online.
Well, the trick Cabela's is already doing is their own branded products. If they can continue to build out their own brand where that is the price online, offline, then they could possibly survive for a lot longer. So I want to read a couple quotes here from Marcus Lomonis, the new CEO of Gander Outdoors. He quotes, terrible inventory, terrible overhead, and candidly, they didn't need 160 stores. Speaking of the old Gander Outdoors. He also says, I'd rather have 50 stores heavily curated for the local market than 150 stores that look like everything is the same, which is essentially what it was. Just really shitty inventory system is what they have. Never seen something so stupid, he commented.
Hey, maybe not sell it at MSRP. That might be a start.
MSRP Outdoors.
Yeah, MSRP Outdoors.
That's what they were.
Oh my God.
What's funny is he's not so, obviously he doesn't probably know a lot about the firearms world, but his stores are really huge, the Camping World stores. And while it's not the same outdoor market as what a Gander, it's still, it's not so far removed from the same demographic of persons. So, he does have some experience in the outdoors market. So I'm fascinated to see what the guy does, because I watch the show all the time. I think he's great. I like him. I like the way he seems to do business on television, at least. I don't know in reality, absolutely. But I like his demeanor. I like what he does. And I think he's going to make hopefully decisions based on business and not emotion. We'll see. I'm not sure if he's probably not a big firearms guy. I think he lives in Chicago, but
I doubt. I don't think he is at all. But he's a big business guy. So I mean, guns sell. So we'll see. Daniel Defense has issued a recall. They have a disconnector safety notification here where you could possibly get a double fire. There's a select set of serial numbers affected. I don't know. I think Daniel Defense is missing the market here. I mean, that's a feature, not a recall.
Unless you want ATF knocking at your door.
Adam, you always got to bring up the ATF, okay?
Not always.
Let's keep this show positive.
Well, I thought we were closing them down.
Yeah, they're not going to be around anymore.
Yeah, we all agreed to that.
I'm going to wait to buy a Daniel Defense until after the ATF is repealed. See how dumb that sounds when you're talking about guns instead of suppressors?
I see what you did there.
Yeah, I did a thing.
All right, so if you bought a Daniel Defense recently, you can check out the recall. They'll take care of you. Daniel Defense is an awesome company. Prosecutors say that newspaper editor used charity ads to get guns illegally. So this guy ran ads for, I think it was a Haiti relief fund where you could donate firearms to be sold and help the Haiti relief. And it turns out this guy was a felon that was collecting these guns and ammo. It's a pretty funny scheme. And
what was the newspaper? Editor of a Los Angeles area community newspaper. Was it like one of those penny savers or something? Like, who actually
the Foothills paper?
Well, apparently 25 people. He had 25 firearms and hundreds of pounds of ammunition, whatever that means.
Hundreds of pounds of ammunition.
Hundreds of pounds. So like a box.
Right. It's like whoever wrote that is stupid.
Oh, this is so heavy.
If I get 1,000 rounds of 5.56, it's like 45 or 50 pounds. So the guy had what, 10,000 rounds? Half the people on this show have 10,000 rounds right now.
What a rookie if he only had 10,000 rounds.
Yeah, those are rookie numbers. We got to get those up.
Bump those numbers up.
So I would like to point out that this is a 75-year-old dude. Like, it's some old kooky bastard. Just, I know how I'll get around these bastards at the police department.
Let me ask you a question. Would you frown on an FFL doing a gun buyback and just giving people like $50 gift cards?
No.
To bump inventory numbers?
So this guy had previously been convicted of like Social Security fraud, welfare fraud. Back in 1990 is why he had his felonies.
1990. Good
hey, John, were you in third grade then, or?
Was it not? In 90, I was 6.
So you were in kindergarten?
I'm offended. Somebody's offended here. We're to the I'm offended section. All right. God. Pennsylvania, John and Adam, you've got a Republican in Pennsylvania that wants to ban private gun sales.
Oh, which? This crap again.
Where's this guy from?
Delaware County.
Delaware? Delco?
Yeah.
Dude, I'm going to his office.
Yeah, well, hold on. First of all, Delco right there says it all. Sorry, anyone listening from Delco, but you know it's true.
Come on, man. I want a hoagie.
There's a reason it's called Delco, and there's a reason that there's a line between it and Chester County.
Seriously, we should go to his office.
Yeah, we could do that.
Let's do that.
I saw somebody already did, and like he doesn't care. He actually defended his position too. There was a follow-up article to this one where he defended his position. I saw earlier today. I'll see if I can dig it out for you. It's not going to go anywhere though. Fortunately for us, even though we have politicians from Philadelphia and now Delaware County, even though he's a Republican, and quite honestly, I don't think their party affiliation matters. But fortunately, our legislator isn't so stupid as to implement this crap. So I think as long as everybody does the responsible thing and calls their representative and says, hey, don't vote for this, it should be a dead on arrival type thing and more a publicity stunt than anything.
Since when do anyone do anything responsible?
I don't know. I try to encourage people to be involved, and John can attest to it. But I'll call and I'll post pictures of my phone log, like, hey, it took me 5 minutes to call not only my state representatives about an issue, but also my federal ones.
Yeah.
You could certainly spare the time in your ride home from work doing that. The excuses are just pathetic. But
everybody should have their senators in their phone.
You talk like you have a driver, Adam. Your ride home from work.
I have Bluetooth. This is 2017.
Touche. Amazon, you can contribute to the Firearms Radio Network and This Week in Guns by shopping our Amazon affiliate link. You can jump to the 21st century with Adam and get your Bluetooth headset.
Right.
At Amazon using our Amazon affiliate link. Just go to firearmsradio.tv/Amazon. And click through that every time you shop Amazon. Real easy. Doesn't cost you anything extra. And it supports Pro Gun Radio like This Week in Guns. It helps this show out a ton. So please, if you shop Amazon, click through our Amazon affiliate link first, firearmsradio.tv. Click anything on there that says Amazon. That'll get you through. Doesn't matter. As long as it's Amazon ad, banner, link, that'll work. You can also bookmark firearmsradio.tv/Amazon. Support Pro Gun Radio like This Week in Guns. We're to the full auto news segment. Stories the real media won't talk about and other crazy stuff. Each of the hosts picks a story here to call their own. Whitey, it looks like you already picked one out. What do you
got? So I'm sure everyone, especially someone with kids, knows what a fidget spinner is. Right, I'm holding one up for all you to see in case somebody doesn't have one. Where it's this little bearing thing, and the most common one is a triangle of 3 circles around a center bearing, and they spin and whiz and do all this fun stuff to keep kids absolutely just useless. If you've never seen the Slingshot channel, This German is awesome. He literally finds new and improved ways to use wood and rubber bands to make super deadly things. So he weaponized fidget spinners. He not only devised a system that spins it automatically at a very high rate of speed, but also the same system will send it while spinning downrange. And he has a cool little video where he showcases him launching them into like boxes over distance. And it's they're already banned from schools in my area, so it's it's pretty funny to see it over in the Germans being weaponized. Shocking.
Hey, that guy's channel's awesome.
It really is.
Mm-hmm. I love his accent.
Yeah. I like the last line of the write-up on guns.com. Then he starts to use the spinner as ammo, comma, and the Scheisse gets really real.
Very cool. John, what do you have?
So I've got another video. This one is from Demolition Ranch with millions of subscribers. I'm sure most of you are familiar. I thought this was an interesting one. He, from time to time, will kind of do some really basic experiments. This one was one of those, let's start small and ramp up kind of tests where he was basically shooting different cartridges into the ground to see how deep they would go. Like what are we finding out here? Just really useless but fun information, and ends up with a 50 BMG. I believe it's a Barrett, and the results of this aren't, it may surprise you, clickbait title. It's actually not as deep as you would think. These bigger rounds end up losing a ton of energy when you shoot them into the ground. They often do some really wacky stuff because the dirt is not what people think it really is. It's not this like smooth, consistent thing. It's full of rocks and different chunks and roots and all that kind of stuff. And I always find that kind of testing very interesting. It doesn't really tell you anything, but I think it's cool to watch no matter what.
I mean, there's a reason we use dirt for backstops. So,
right.
Billy, what do you got?
So at a Walmart in Knoxville, Tennessee, someone was checking out at the register, and as they were leaving, they had an ND. For those of you that don't know, you should know negligent discharge. And it just so happens to turn out this was an off-duty employee of the Anderson County Sheriff's Department, although he did work at the jail. So we'll cut the Sheriff's Department a little slack. But get this, when officers arrived, he informed them the gun wasn't in a holster. It was just freely in his shorts pocket. And I just got to say, seriously? Like, I know people still do this, but this guy's like, he works in a jail, works for the Sheriff's Department, and he's just sliding a gun in his pocket without a holster and one in the pipe. Like, I'm still dumbfounded that this does happen, but it happened with a Sheriff's Department employee. I'm like, man, dude, who puts a gun in their pocket with one in the pipe and not in a holster? Like, I don't get it. So don't be that idiot, people. If you're going to carry your gun, get a holster. There's a bazillion of them out there. And I won't even criticize you for having the cheap leather holster you get off of Amazon, just as long as you have the gun in a holster.
Absolutely. I mean, as long as it covers the trigger guard, better than nothing in most cases.
Definitely better than just sticking it in your shorts pocket.
Yeah, that tube of chapstick set it off. Adam, what do you got?
Well, this one's kind of interesting. And this one hails from Kuwait. Their customs agents find a homing pigeon carrying a tiny drug-filled backpack. And there's a picture of the bird, and it's wearing a backpack. It's pretty amazing, actually. So these guys apparently took a homing pigeon and strapped a little backpack to him with 200 pills. and they said, I guess authorities said that they noticed the bird near the border on a vehicle, but looked like it was having some trouble to move. So they went and looked at it, and that's when they noticed his little backpack that was secured with a safety belt. So they tracked down the bird and caught it and pulled the narcotics off it. Now I guess they're working to figure out who owns it, and I have no idea how they're going to figure that out. But it just goes to show you that people will find a way to do things regardless of your laws.
It's a homing pigeon. It goes back to its owner, right?
I guess.
That what happens in Battlefield? I mean, they
I don't know.
there's a
Not
whole
cool like you kids.
homing pigeon scenario on Battlefield, isn't there?
No, who's got time for that?
Okay, John and Whitey, the two guys that play Battlefield.
I played Battlefield 4. I gave up on Battlefield 1 a while ago.
Okay,
I don't know what you're talking about.
everyone's too cool. Okay.
No,
doesn't play
that's
video
not
games
anymore, for the record.
All
He's an
right,
adult
second
now.
round. Anyone want to take a second round here?
I got one. I gotta cover.
All right.
Texas legislature approves hog hunting from hot air balloons. Oh my God! If you ever wanted to go on a romantic date, this is how it's done in Texas. It's just waiting for the governor's signature. House Bill 3535 just passed, and obviously we don't really get too deep into hog hunting. I mean, it's kind of understood that it's a huge problem down south, and when we say problem, we're not kidding. These invaders from wherever the hell they came from, they ruin people's lives. They ruin people's yards. They ruin their crops. They are a horrible plague on the South. That being said, I think shooting from a hot air balloon could be one of the most fun things, because you could literally get you and like a pilot, or if you know how to do it, just stack the thing full of ammo. And then instead of having ammo, you could have spent brass in there and just rain down on them.
That's a whole day.
Yeah, like that's just amazing.
What are you doing today? Hunting from the air.
You could
It's
have
probably more
your-
cost effective than helos too.
Yeah, and you could have like a little
You
romantic
don't say.
picnic. You could have some pork for lunch. It just sounds.
Wine, nice picnic basket.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
cheese.
That's a really romantic date. Smoke checking hogs all day, and then you could do it at night.
The ranch next
wait.
to where I just was, literally they were stacking 50 to 70 a night
Oh yeah,
for like 4 nights in a row, and that's one ranch.
And I'm sure that didn't really put a dent in the population either.
it doesn't at all, dude.
All right,
So-
second round. Anyone else?
Well, hold on. Just one more thing. Feral pigs and hogs can reproduce twice per year. After 6 months, they are capable of reproducing again. So the kid you had 6 months ago, as you're firing off your second round, is also having kids. They have anywhere from 4 to 8 litter per
Yeah.
round.
So
Do
it's
the
like
math on it.
exponential increase there.
And then
Yeah,
you have
and they're moving
coyotes
north.
that are like, oh, we have meals now, and they increase. So now you have coyotes, which threaten their cattle, and on these ranches where they stock things like Axis and Apex and scimitars or centaurs or whatever that
Scimitar.
fancy ram is.
Centaurs.
That's a problem. They had a ranch guy, the place I was just at, who said he had seen a coyote on a scimitar's horns, and the scimitar's just walking around like boss. Dead
Wow.
coyote just draped over its head.
Awesome. All right, second round. Anyone else?
I was going to talk about the 16-year-old prostitute that just sued all of Oakland,
What? What?
but I don't know if that's something I really want to get into. Because teenage prostitute who slept with dozens of Oakland police officers just won a lawsuit for $989,000.
Well, that's a thing.
Hold on. That is $41,000 per officer.
Wow, she's a pricey hooker.
Her mother was a dispatcher, just to really throw the little.
Was she dispatching her daughter to the dudes? Or?
I don't
Sounds
know,
like
but they
it.
all knew who she was. because of her mom. Like, I don't know. A lot of that just really is like,
yeah. What about you guys see this bounty hunters go into this car dealership in Texas?
Go for it. Yeah.
I only saw the video earlier. You guys should watch it. It's hard to decipher what's actually going on, but I guess there was a fugitive, someone who had jumped bail. I don't know if he was working at the car dealership or what was going on. I haven't read this yet. I said just watch the video. Video starts off with literally two guys with pistols drawn going into like a car dealership, a glass office inside of a dealership, and then someone fires first. They all died. 2 bounty hunters and the fugitive died. And I just got to say, sometimes, I don't know a lot about bounty hunting. I don't know any bounty hunters, but was this kind of like the right way to handle this situation? I mean, there's a lot of people in that dealership. It could have been a lot of innocent people get hurt here. And sometimes I just think these guys, you keep seeing these videos of bounty hunters doing stupid stuff. They should have just backed off and called law enforcement. But of course, they want the money, right? There's a reward for it. So horrible situation. They all died. Check out the video. It's not too graphic because the person that films it
that's total rookie status. I mean, they literally, so anyone who can't see the video, doesn't click the link, anything like that at all. They're in one of those glass cubicles of let's make a deal, where they tell you, let me talk to my manager, and you sit there and you look at their stupid little trinkets on their desk and you talk to your significant other about it. And one guy is on the door, one guy is about to go in. Guy behind draws down, like immediately. No friggin' reason, no. The guy is already putting his hands up, so to speak, but like trying to get away from the guy coming in. Then the guy coming in pulls his gun. So logically, you have 2 guns on a guy. There's no need to crowd that workspace. Guy on door, first gun puller, decides to go and get over his buddy's shoulder and put 2 guns in the guy's face. So now you have way too many guns in way too close proximity of dudes that are not tiny. So yeah, this was all dumb through and through. I'm no expert bounty hunter, but that was dumb.
And there's a lot of people around.
Yeah, in glass that I guarantee you is not ballistic.
Well, I'm no expert, but I did watch Dog the Bounty Hunter one time.
They used paintball guns.
Wasn't he a felon? He couldn't even carry a firearm.
That's why they use paintball guns and tasers.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
They use the capsaicin balls.
So what was he a felon for? He like drunk driving. He killed someone or something like that, didn't he?
That explains how he looks like a lot of bad.
I think it was manslaughter.
Yeah,
manslaughter.
I think it was
manslaughter.
Manslaughter. It's wildly inappropriate.
Come on. Why has no one taken this headline? Man who believed he was the Punisher out to kill Power Ranger and cops at Phoenix Comic Con.
Because it looks like a plant.
But
it's like, oh, let's see who bites on this one. Yeah. Smurfette.
29-year-old heavily armed man was arrested Tuesday at Phoenix Comic Con thanks to a tip from his friend who said he had violent plans for the gathering. Matthew Sterling was apprehended. He was in possession of a shotgun, 345 caliber handguns, a combat knife, pepper spray, and throwing stars. Sterling was also wearing body armor under his clothing. All items appear to be real and not props.
I mean, throwing stars. That's
real as you can get, right?
The definition of mall ninja. That and 345s. How many cars are you flipping that day?
Sterling revealed he believed himself to be the Punisher. He was the Punisher. I mean, he was. And the fictional comic book character whose sole purpose became to punish evildoers.
If he was, why wasn't his name Frank Castle?
Good question.
Matthew Sterling.
It said on his calendar he had put reminder that said kill JDF.
Go Power Rangers. Just proof that you can't beat the Power Rangers.
I mean, where was Zordon in all of this?
That stupid witch thing.
And the trash can that talked.
Does that weird head doesn't move, but everything else does?
Yeah.
So, number one comment in the comment section is the only thing being punished by him was his chair in the local Chinese buffet.
Wow. Wow.
So he was punishing some MSG, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Did he eat like this, Jake?
Meanwhile, the androgynous guy in the trash can are really pissed.
Oh, jeez.
All right, are we done?
The impression,
Yeah.
the impression was so good.
Any other full auto?
I mean, the chair squeaking makes it better.
Oh no! Oh no!
Well, as always, you can join the Facebook discussion.
After this, they might not want to.
Oh no, Adam! Why would you say such things? Oh my God!
Check out the Facebook group for This Week in Guns. Link in the show notes. You can also search for it on Facebook. You can pledge your support for this show, firearmsradio.tv/pledge, and pledge for little as $5 per episode. Support Pro Gun Radio like This Week in Guns, firearmsradio.tv/pledge. Patriot Patch Company helps make this episode possible. Patch of the month just shipped for June. Have an incredible patch in store for July, but there's some enrollment slots still open for the June patch of the month. Check it out, patriotpatch.co. Also, check out the cleaning mats over there. Also have the Safe Space version 2.0 patch over at patriotpatch.co. This is the part of the show where we see what these guys are up to and what their favorite Power Ranger character is. John, you're up.
Do I have to pick a favorite? They're
all so good.
The White Ranger.
Racist.
I had to pick one.
Wow.
I had to pick one. So I've been up to just trying to keep up. Kind of recovered from NRA, taking some time trying to figure out how to move forward and how to keep things going, and just trying to do the right thing with the business and make smart choices as we go forward, and learning along the way. But things are good. Things are good.
Very cool. Where can people connect with you online?
You can do that by going to your Google machine and punching in The Gun Collective, and either my face or Adam's face will pop up, and you can click on that and listen.
Does it matter what face we click on?
What?
Does it matter what face we click on?
No, it doesn't matter. You can click on my face or you can click on Adam's face. Adam has way more intelligent things to talk about than I do, though.
Let's not sell yourself short.
He doesn't need your face to click on, that's for sure.
Josh, Four Guys Guns.
How's
Favorite
it
Power
going?
Ranger, and where can people connect with you online?
The Pink Ranger was very important to me as a youth. It was very pivotal in my growth in the adolescent years.
Wow.
Take that how you will.
Oh, okay, so Four Guys Guns. So right now we're at a little bit of a lull, and it's not because of lack of things to do. A lot of people don't realize that we do a lot of stuff, not really OEM, I think that's the wrong way to put it, but we edit a lot of video for a lot of other companies, and especially in the gun world. We do patches just like Jake does, but we are getting back into reviews a little bit. We just put one out before I started traveling for NRAM and such for the Yankee Hill machine. We have a buttload of suppressors that have come in and are still coming in. So we're going to do a lot of stuff with the new Q stuff. Allegedly stuff from Crow is coming, more from Yankee Hill, possibly Silencer Co. And that's like just suppressors. I mean, I could fill all of summer with one suppressor a week. That's how crazy it is. So we are also doing that because we are working to try and find a new safe space to operate the weekly drill down. There was no problems with the facility or anything like that at all. We love our club, but with Mr. DeVito seeking new employment, it has conflicted with our ability to produce a show every week. So therefore, we feel a lot of the people that enjoy the show don't just enjoy the shooting aspect, but they enjoy the back and forth. So we're literally seeking people to fill that role locally, as well as a place to do it that's conducive to like scheduling a time to do it, as opposed to go sit at a range all day and hope for quiet. So that's where we're at, getting back on the review train and working really hard on bringing back the weekly drill down. And yeah, you can find our store at store/4guysguns.com. Go to 4guysguns.com or our Facebook page or Instagram or Twitter. All at 4guysguns, all in word.
Very cool. Billy, Boxer Tactical, what's your favorite Power Ranger?
I did not watch the Power Rangers. I think I'm too old for the Power Rangers, man. I was like a Thundercats fan.
So Voltron, give us Voltron.
I don't even know the Power. I have no idea anything about Power Rangers.
A primary color.
Favorite Thundercat?
I don't even remember man, I'm so not interesting about that stuff, man. I just don't. The main guy, right?
Favorite
what was his name?
Character.
Lion-O?
Who?
Lion-O, not the train.
Yeah,
Lion-O.
Lion-O. Did you say A-Team character? A-Team is Face Man.
Face?
Face, yeah. Was that a Face Man or Face? Face Man. Face Man? I don't know, man. I liked Magnum PI.
Yeah, come on with Stuff Guy.
Magnum PI, man, was it. And Dukes of Hazzard.
Yes.
Those were my shows as a kid. But anyway,
Billy,
Jake, during this whole show, I almost ate a whole container of gummy bears from Lucky's. They're gone. So I think I'm going to be sick now. But other than that, I'm doing great. And Boxer's doing good. One thing, I don't know if people have known, I think I mentioned something on social media, but we've been using Amazon we do Amazon FBA, and we've been fulfilling most of our products through Amazon for 5-6 years now. We're totally kicking Amazon to the curb. We're going to leave some products there, but we're disconnecting it from our website. So starting actually next month, we will start doing all of our own fulfillment. And this has been like a several month process because we had inventory in like 20 some warehouses around the country and trying to get all this back together and having to launch a new website with a new e-commerce platform. So it's finally going to happen. It's been like 6 months in the works. We're excited because it's going to allow us a lot more flexibility with fulfillment and allow us to run a lot more cool types of promos that we can't really do when you're doing fulfillment with Amazon because of the cost per fulfillment per package. You can't kit things together, and it's tough to get one box to a customer when they order 5 different items, and they'll end up getting 5 different boxes from 5 different warehouses. So we're simplifying the whole process, and we're real close. We're excited about that. Also, for the first time in 6 months, we have every Apogee color in stock right now. As of today, I can't tell you that will last all weekend, but if you've been waiting for one, now is the time to pick one up. And that's about it, man. Got some other cool stuff we're working on, and things are going well, man. You can connect with us on Instagram at BoxerTac, Facebook /BoxerTactical, and BoxerTactical.com. And if you want to send me hate mail like that guy that last week did, you can send it to Billy at BoxerTactical.com.
Very cool. Adam, where can people connect online? What's up, and what's your favorite Power Ranger?
It was the green Power Ranger. Just going to throw that one out there. Like the green one. Probably because I like the color green. As you can see, my lower 1/3 right here. Anyway, you can catch me on the internet. If you go to Google and type in Adam Kraut, I'll pop up in like 1,800 different places. You can check out adamkraut.com, my website. If you are an NRA Life member or an annual member the past 5 consecutive years and you would like to sign a petition to get me back onto the ballot to do this thing right this go-round, you can do so. You can download the petition at adamkraut.com. You can find me on Instagram at @TheAdamKraut because Adam Kraut was taken by someone else named Adam Kraut. Find me on Facebook, public figure page, Adam Kraut. There's a theme here. I think it's my name. You can find me that way.
Do you know that person was really named Adam Kraut, or did he just like that name?
No, I'm pretty sure his name is actually Adam Kraut.
It wasn't Bob Schmidt. He's like,
I didn't investigate. I didn't send him like a threatening message. Hey, give me that name or else. You can check out the legal brief. This week we actually did one on the post offices and the laws surrounding whether or not you can carry a firearm in the post office or in the parking lot, more importantly. And that one's gotten a lot of interesting responses from people. Very, very confused by some people's position, but okay. So you can check out.
Interesting how.
A lot of people are going with the concealed means concealed. I guess that's all well and good till you pass out in the post office and you're transported to a hospital, and then they find you have a gun and you get prosecuted. But hey, not my problem.
Well, yeah, I mean that may be well and good for like a company that has like a no gun sticker in the window, but when you're dealing with the federal government,
yeah, I wouldn't timestamp around with the federal government. They have plenty of resources to ruin your life, and they will. They definitely will. As far as what's up, just a lot of work at the law firm. This weekend is the Stone Mountain Machine Gun Shoot up in Monroe, PA. I will be heading on up there Sunday. I won't be there both days because I have a wedding to attend on Saturday, but I will be there Sunday. So if you end up there, please do try and find me and say hello. I'm a very friendly individual, despite what you might have heard.
What have we heard?
I don't know. I'm not intimidating at all. So that's all I got.
All right, very cool. Links in the show notes for all these guys and what they do. You can go to firearmsradio.tv to see the show notes for any of the Firearms Radio Network shows, and you can click directly into these guys' endeavors on there. So you can check out the This Week in Guns group on Facebook. Thanks for everyone tuning in live on Firearms Radio Network Facebook page. I had a comment. I think it was Craig or someone said, very cool to watch you guys on my company's time.
I saw that.
Thank you for tuning in live at work. You can also tune in on Firearms Radio Network YouTube page. That's about 8:15 Central Time every Thursday night. Also, leave your feedback on YouTube, bottom of the show notes on the firearmsradio.tv. Any way you listen, leave a comment. Contribute to the show by watching or by using the Firearms Radio Network affiliate link. That about wraps us up. Thank you, John.
Hey, thanks for having me back, man. It was fun.
Good to have you back. People have been missing you, John. Hopefully we can have you on a little more often.
Hopefully. We shall see.
Josh Cast, thank you.
Pleasure to be here, Jake. Thanks for having me.
Billy, thank you.
Hey, thanks for having me, Jake.
And thank you, Adam.
Thanks, Jake. Pleasure's all mine.
That's a wrap. We'll see you next week.